So this here is one of my favorite novels of all time. It's part of a series of 6 novels on exploring Jelmer's world, where I will discuss the best of the best. So that's why this is the title. It is the greatest and a blueprint for writing a great story. So what will be answered in this video? So what is it about in a nutshell? What makes the structure of it into the ideal blueprint for writing? And what makes the characters of it so memorable? So, in a nutshell, it is a shapeshifter that takes the form of someone's greatest fear. Now, also, it has 2 storylines, kids at age 12 and adults at age 37. It is a great villain because it seems to have no motive and it's completely elusive. And also, why did it give me nightmares as a kid? And that had to do with the movie adaptation, because in some twisted sort of Santa Claus variation, it had the ability to appear out of the drain in the shower, and that was terrifying to me as a kid. I watched it back in the days with a friend who had it on VHS back then, and his mother was working and we were watching it on the TV. Not exactly child friendly, but I still remember how it felt at the time, and it was really terrifying. Now, as an adult, I started reading the book. I started reading it in Dutch, and I never got into it, so I threw that copy out, and then a couple of years later, like 20 years later, I read the English work, and that's when I was like really hooked in, because this story, it really delivers. And the story, when you read it, it's more of a slow burn, and that makes it much more enjoyable. And it's also like a different sort of story, because with the slow burn element in place, it's not as terrifying, or it's terrifying in a whole different way. And also the villain, it's more abstract. It's not as terrifying as it seems, and it becomes more about the development of the relationship between all the characters and so forth. Now, and also what makes it much more enjoyable is that this was really a bit of an intimidating book, because it is like 1100 pages, so it really takes you a while to get through. And but that's also part of the joy, and that's also like why, in a way, it's also something to be proud of. Like, after reading so many pages, it really feels like an accomplishment. Then the next question, like why is it such a good blueprint for writing? And this is besides the obvious. So the obvious, in my opinion, is like it's like a third-person perspective. It's at a 4th grade level of English. It has relatable characters, and the story carries from A to Z. So besides all of that, I think it's a good blueprint for writing. And the only way that I know how to summarize it is to show it. And to me, I can only talk about my experience. But what stands out about the structure of it, because it really is like a system approach almost here. Like the way it is written, like each chapter is like written in like sub-paragraphs. And let me show you what I mean by that. So you have like the opening chapter, chapter 1, and with like a beautiful line that takes like a whole paragraph. So the terror, which would not end for another 28 years, if it ever did end, began, so far as I know, or can tell, with a boat made from a sheet of newspaper floating down a gutter, swollen with rain. Beautiful opening line, and it really sets the pace, and it gives a bit of history and also like the whole arc of the story. This is a fantastic opening, but it starts with the one here, so that's what I want you to pay attention to. Now, then a couple of pages later, there's the second part of the chapter. A couple of pages after that, there's the third part, and then the fourth part, and then chapter 2. Now, what it really does is that it divides the chapter not just in 4 parts, but in 4 different scenes. And the way I like to read a story is I like to look at it like a movie, and it really seems like this is like one scene of the movie, this is like a next scene of the movie, and the next scene. And for me, this really clicked, and I started incorporating that all the way in the beginning when I started writing the entity. This is the structure I used, and it really made it easier for me to see like where the story was going, and also to play around a little bit with the pacing. But it all comes down to that 1, 2, 3, 4 in each chapter, because it gives structure when writing, but it also gives structure when reading, because you know, even with like a really thick work, like 1100 pages long, if you can just read like a portion of a chapter, it makes it more doable also on the reading end. So, and that's, in my opinion, why this is like such a good blueprint for writing. Now, to continue looking at the index, like it's also divided in like the different parts, so like beginning, middle, and end. And since it's such a huge work, it also is like the different time jumps. So we have like 57, 84, 85. So 3 chapters here. And then part 2 only in 58, and part 3 only in 85. And this is like a really simple structuring, and because this structure is so simple, it becomes easier to write, it becomes easier to read, and that just gives for a nicer overall experience. And also like, you know, on top of that, it shouldn't be a puzzle, like it's a story that goes from A to Z, and you know, if you keep those components in mind, that's really when things will start to click. And for me, I looked at it like a blueprint for writing, and that's what made it doable for me to get it off the ground and to get it finished. And I even went so far as looking at like the first sentence, like the first sentence of the entity. It's also like a banger, and those are like the small cues that you can take from really exceptional works of fiction. And that's why, you know, it is not just enjoyable from a reader perspective, but also it's an extremely good blueprint for writing. Now, to summarize it, so the villains are unapologetically bad, the characters, they unite to fight the villains, and the melody, it sets the pace by playing with sentence length, so long, short, medium, long, short, short, and so forth. And that makes it more enjoyable to read. Now also the kids in it, they feel like the friends you had when you were a kid. And also it really hooks into nostalgia, and it allows you to like dream up another version of your childhood. I mean, that's kind of how like nostalgia works. Also, like the grown-ups, they feel real. Like when I was younger, I never could relate to them in this story, but now that I know what it's like to be 37 myself, they feel real, and the kids still feel real, even though I'm much older now. The whole work seems more real and more impactful, and more of everything, basically. So the short of it is, go spend a couple of weeks reading it. You won't regret it, you will have a good time, and afterwards you will be glad that you did it. Also, you'll feel proud of yourself because you managed to read such a massive work of fiction. Now, back to exploring Jelmer's world, because yeah, the idea here is that I show the best of the best. I mean, we're going against the mediocrity here, and that's why I'm only discussing like 6 different works of fiction, because, you know, those are the best ones, and then we move on to different things. So I think after this, I'm gonna discuss my 6 favorite movies, and after that we'll see what happens then. Now, the level of storytelling in it is what motivated me to write myself, and it really is when after I read it, is when it clicked, and when I saw like a structure, when I really studied like how it all fit together. And in a way, it also motivates me to go extremely hard with my 3 YouTube channels, being Jelmer Builds Things, Prim's Game, and Exploring Jelmer's World, because it's a way of going against mediocrity. Like, I really want all of this to exist in the world. I want to create success online in an awesome way, and that's my version of going against mediocrity. I want to create a fictional universe that's exciting with underdog characters who succeed against all odds. My version of going against mediocrity. And Jelmer Builds Things. I want to build things that last, that you can use around the house, that are custom made and way better than the things that you buy in the store. And again, that's fighting against mediocrity. And that's also what I get from reading it. Like, this is such an exceptional story. This story in itself is an effort of going against mediocrity. And my whole idea is that if I can create a whole movement around this idea of going against mediocrity, then I'm really onto something. Now, my feeling in the moment. So, it's a couple of weeks after the summer. It's my 3rd week of being back in the game, and I'm excited about it. And in the back of my mind, I always have like this almost childlike feeling, like I wish I could just go ahead into the future, a couple of years, take a peek, and then come back here. Just have like this sort of assurance that things are gonna work out. But hey, that's not how life works. But I'm totally convinced. I'm still convinced. It's just a matter of time. And this is really the one-liner that I can also recommend for you, that you walk around with that and try it out for yourself to see how it fits. So let's do some statistics. And my dominant statistics are the subscriber counts. I think that's the most important number. Those are people who took a chance on you, who said like, hey, I like what this guy is doing. This is interesting. I should keep track. So that's why those are my dominant numbers. So Jelmer Builds Things this week 117, Prim's Game 20, and Exploring Jelmer's World is 5. Now, also what I learned over the past week. So I read up on network effects. So in a nutshell, this is like the center of the network, like the channels on YouTube, and every person watching is like a node in the network. And when people start commenting in videos, they create like connections between each other. So the idea is that these videos that I'm creating, they will become more valuable and more enjoyable as time progresses, because then there are like the numbers to back it up. You see like a bigger number of views, more subscribers, and also like interaction in the comments. Now, the statement that I took from the site that I was reading is this one right here, and I think it's very true. So, the challenge is often to build enough initial value to incentivize early adopters to start using the product even before the network effects value has kicked in. And that's where I am right now. I try to provide like a ton of value. I try to upload very frequently from different angles. I'm sharing the journey. I'm building a fictional universe. I'm building literally things on Jelmer Builds Things, and it's the beginning. So, especially for the first 1,000 subscribers on each channel, thank you for being here, because you're seeing the value in like the raw stuff, and that really means a lot to me. Now, a statement like this, it also confirms that I'm on the right track, because this is the effort it takes. Like right now, I'm in the lonely chapter, I'm in the dip, I'm in the valley of despair. I just have to push through, and if I do enough of that, things will happen and things will get off the ground. I'm convinced of that. Call it my delusion, call it whatever you want, but I think that's the way it works with YouTube and a lot of social media outlets. Now, and also, this is like something extremely exciting, and I would also almost call it like one of the most exciting things that I have done in my life this far. So what I want to say is thank you for being here. Thank you for being here early on the journey and to enjoy the ride with me. Right now, everything is still in the starting blocks. It's still small, but I'm here for it. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna chip away at it every single day. I'm gonna work extremely hard to make this a success and to make this happen from every possible angle. And yeah, most of all, I hope to inspire you. I hope to transfer some of my excitement, some of my energy through the camera towards you, and that you get a little bit excited as well to start creating things for yourself and to build a better future. Now, and finally, yeah, some interaction, like what is your favorite novel of all time? Drop it in the comments below. And what is your big dream that you're chipping away at? And yeah, also, thanks for subscribing. It really helps pushing this content outwards and to tell the world basically like they need some of this in their life, and you know, you're gonna help someone else out by leaving a comment, a like, or a subscribe. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, so that's it. That's the video.